Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to Overtime. I'm your host, Jordan Hiles, and today I'm joined by Evan Schofield and Stone O'Brien, and we're ready to talk about everything in the world of sports, so let's get into it. We have a huge rivalry matchup with Kent State's volleyball team versus Akron.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's been a disappointing season for Kent State volleyball, but when you get into the wagon wheel, it's just a good rivalry in any sport, and you're going to bring your best in the rivalry game. So hopefully they can close out the season with a nice win against their rivals.
Yeah, I would like to hope so that they could beat Akron, but Akron right now, well, Kent is 1-20 overall in winless in the MAC, and the Zips are 8-16 overall and 4-8 in the MAC. So they both have a losing record, obviously, but Akron has been doing pretty well. They have the best hitting. They have the most kills right now in the nation. Out of any Division I team, a MAC score has the most kills, which is really insane. Kent's offense is just very hit or miss. Like, they'll be on one game, off the next. And when you're facing a team whose hitting percentage is the best in the country, Kent's defense is really going to have to be on top of that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Jordan. Look, so I'm looking and I'm like, hey, Akron has just lost 5 straight, right? Akron's coming into Kent, losing 5 straight, but they obviously need this win against the Flashes, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for two key stars, and these stars have been going off pretty much the whole season, despite our season. Looking at Kendall White and Mackenzie McGuire. They're our top offensive stars, and we got to make sure they're involved early, and we got to make sure they're doing the best they can in this game. And like you said with records and stuff, Kent State's 51-40 against Akron. So it'll be a challenge, but it should be a game we can win,
Yeah.
It
Definitely,
should be a game that can come back and get them.
The wagon wheel is probably all the motivation they should need because it's a rivalry game.
Yep.
And it's at home.
Home rivalry game, it's just nothing better than that.
Yeah, I mean, when I go to the games, I'm going to be honest, no one is really ever there. But I think against Akron, they'll have a good, home crowd that'll really get them rallied.
I agree.
But like you were saying about Kendall White, she's a great setter. I think she's one of the best in the MAC that we've seen because she sets up the offense really well, but it's just really hard for Kent to get kills. And they only rely on Mackenzie McGuire, like
Correct.
you said. Like, she leads Kent in kills and blocks. She's just kind of carrying Kent's team on her back right now, and when she gets into the back row, they kind of lose all that momentum, which really shuts down Kent. Yeah. And then, speaking of other rivalries, Ohio State is heading to Happy Valley to play Penn State, and it's a whiteout game, which is insane. I've always wanted to go to a whiteout game. I'm not a Penn State fan, but I think it'd be so cool because I see videos.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a big challenge for the Buckeyes. I mean, look, you're going to Happy Valley, you're going against this whiteout, you're playing another pretty high-rated team in Penn State. Look, we have Penn State at 3, and we got Ohio State at 4.
Yeah.
Ohio State, I think they really need this win to really look. If they lose this game, they're still in. They can be in the hunt for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
But look, you're playing Penn State. If you also beat Indiana, you get in. You beat these big teams in the Big Ten, and you're a lock for the playoffs.
You're a lock, and you got to have this game to have a shot at the conference because, it's weird now. Teams aren't playing every single team in the season. So, you could see some matchups, that get created just by, odd records, and you haven't played a team. You could have a bottom feeder schedule, and teams like Miami and the ACC are playing Clemson, but they're not playing SMU. So then you get unique matchups in the conference championship game. So Ohio State, they can get this win and start the momentum path and kind of buck the trend. Ryan Day, he's kind of struggled in these big games. We know they've lost to Michigan the last couple of seasons, lost to Oregon. So you need to buck this trend. And James Franklin also needs to buck the trend of losing these big matchups too.
I think if Ohio State loses, it might be the end of their road, just in saying of trying to win the national championship, because I knew they were a favorite in the beginning of the season.
I'd also say it's the end of the road for Ryan Day.
You think so?
Look, I know Ohio State hasn't played Michigan yet, and I know Ryan Day's record against Michigan isn't that good, but you need a coach that can win these big games. I'm sure all Ohio State fans are so tired of just losing these games that you can easily win with a arguably top 5 defense in college football. These are games you got to win. And what I was looking at is the third time that game day has had a Big Ten matchup. So it's going to be a big crowd. Everyone's going to be watching this game. So it's a lot of pressure on Day and a lot of pressure on James Franklin. But I think if, these teams will compete, and it's going to be pretty close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to Ohio State. They've had some issues at the line. We saw the offense in the second half against Nebraska not play up to par, but the defense really held. Even when you had a red zone, turnovers that put them in the red zone to start drives. And then they finally got the offense going, were able to pull away. And that's what good teams do. Even if you struggle, you should pull away in the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of Michigan, I think Ohio State should not easily beat Michigan, but I think they have a good chance of this year of finally winning after, 3 years?
Yes.
3 years.
Because I don't even think Michigan's ranked right now.
Michigan's, they don't have much of a quarterback.
No.
They've ran the ball a lot. And this is just, they've coming off the cheating scandal. They've lost a lot of talent. This is a game that you have to win. Otherwise, everyone will be calling for Ryan Day's job.
Yeah, if not this game, if they lose against Penn State.
Wow, you really think so? How long has he been there for?
Ryan Day?
Mm-hmm.
How long has Ryan Day been there for?
Do you know?
4, 5, 4?
It's 2019, maybe?
5?
Because Urban Meyer retired after the Rose Bowl against Washington.
Yeah, it's just he's great against these these non-ranked and stuff, and then he gets to Michigan. But I think this is the year.
This should be the year.
This should be the year because Harbaugh's off to the NFL. They're still in this run-heavy system, but Ohio State is really good against the run.
Yeah.
But I don't know how good they'll be against a quarterback like Drew Aller, right, for Penn State. That's a big challenge now. Obviously, he got injured last week, and his status is questionable, and it's questionable up to game time. So that could really determine this game to see how Ohio State fares against a great passing quarterback like Drew Aller and his amazing stats this year.
And what are you guys' predictions for, Final Four matchup national championship? Because right now, Ohio State's number 3 and Penn State's 4, but, the rankings are subject to change. They've been changing like crazy all year. What do you guys think?
I don't know. What do you
think? I think it'll be interesting. I think you'll get, you'll see at least Georgia.
You'll see Georgia.
Georgia and Texas.
Georgia and Texas for sure.
I don't think Bama gets in.
Bama won't make it.
They lost to.
Because there's just too much. Teams get, especially with the group of 5 team that's probably going to make it. It should be Boise State, but you never know. Army or Notre Dame, Army or Navy could come in and swoop up a spot because it's the 5 highest ranked conference champions that make the playoff. So you could easily get 2 group of 5 teams because Boise State with the Heisman frontrunner Ashton Genty should have a clear path to the title as long as he keeps on running the ball well.
Yeah, you wonder if Nebraska is actually also a team to watch in those rankings.
You think so?
I don't know.
It's interesting with the 12-team playoff format.
Right.
If it was 4.
They could sneak in. I don't know.
Is this the first year for the 12 team?
12-team format.
What was it before?
4.
4, right?
4 teams.
Really?
And
12 to
we
4?
saw
That's a big
group
jump.
of 5 teams have good seasons, but they just didn't have the access because they were started off already lower ranked, and they would only get into the top 15. So Cincinnati was able to get in, and they look competitive, but they still lost a kind of lopsided game. So I think it'll be fun to see them shine fully and get full access into the playoff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm excited because college football season is winding down, unfortunately.
Sucks.
But we still have a bunch of Sunday football that we are looking to get into after this. Welcome back to Overtime. We are ready to talk about Sunday football, starting with the best team, in my opinion, the Steelers. We just played the Giants this past Monday Night Football, and I was there, and it was so exciting to see Renegade live. I know you've seen it live, and it's a crazy experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say right now, I've never been more excited to talk about my football team than this year. This year feels different, man. Look, hearing Renegade in person, especially when it's against Aaron Rodgers, and, just
because you went to the Jets game.
I did.
I went to the Giants game, yeah.
Correct. And just hearing it against any opponent is just so magical. And at night it's just a whole different feeling. Look, this team is 6-2. This team is right behind the Chiefs in the AFC, playoff race, right, as far as record-wise. And it just feels different. There's no Matt Canada. There's no bad quarterbacks. We have 2 quarterback ones on our team. Arguably, we have 2 quarterback ones, one mentoring the other. And it's been an offensive explosion with some new defensive players that have been making great plays. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Stone? What do you
Been
think?
trending up, Russell Wilson, very good quarterback, and there's just a different feel to the offense. Like, there's a feel that, like, there's a comfort level that you can have. Like, you can have a good defense, and then, like, Russell Wilson will come in and do enough to, like, manage the game well to get the win. And Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches probably to touch the NFL in this generation. TJ Watt is the clear front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
I would say it would have been Hutch if he wouldn't have got hurt. I would say that for sure. Dexter Lawrence having a great year. I mean, you saw that game. He got a sack on Russ, one of those drives. But I'm so impressed. Mike Tomlin took a really risky decision going with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for sure.
There were people inside his organization that were like, don't do this. Don't switch to the 35-year-old. And Tomlin's like, this is why I get paid when I get paid. Because he made this decision, and this offense has exploded.
Yeah.
And I get it. 2 New York teams, but with great defenses. Both teams have top defenses in the league, the Jets and the Giants.
And both teams have the offensive weapons to win.
Right.
And it's the NFL, like that talent level. Any week you could see it. I mean, look at the Browns. They got Deshaun Watson. He got injured, unfortunately. Jameis Winston stepped up.
And look, that quarterback change has lit a spark in that locker room, I think.
And you've seen it last year with Joe Flacco,
Right.
And we're going to talk about it later in the World Series, but like you said, with Mike Tomlin, like that's why he gets paid. You got to have the feel, and a great manager with feel for like any situation can change a organization.
And that's why he's been there for 18 years. And despite the recent playoff drought, we've been to the playoffs, but I'm going to say drought because I'm tired of going to Kansas City. I'm tired of going to Buffalo against these powerhouse teams and just getting rocked. I'm tired of it, right? And look, the second half of the Steelers' schedule, brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. It's the worst in the league.
Brutal, but you know what? When you have good starts, like you're 6-2, you get that leeway. You can
You
struggle a
build wins
little
up.
bit.
Right, right. And with the bye is going to help us out in that aspect. We played the division 6 times, like in the span of 9 weeks. Have you ever seen that before? Like we play the Chiefs and the Ravens like back to back. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
tough.
But something I wanted to note on, if you don't mind, is Hard Knocks, and how that is going to be such a good like in-season Hard Knocks. Have we ever had an in-season Hard Knocks? I don't think we have, right?
I don't think any of the AFC teams have been on there. I know the Browns are on Hard Knocks when they were doing their rebuilding phase.
Like we had the Netflix documentary, right? But we have, this division is always a story. Every year there's always something going on. We got Derrick Henry, the Ravens. That's going to be a big story. We got Danny Smith being the mastermind he is on special teams, putting us 1 in the league on special teams. What's not to love about Hard Knocks and what drama that's going to get? You know what I mean?
You got the Bengals, like it's the AFC North, best division in football. The records may not show, but like overall, we easily the best division in football, and I think you're going to see it from a new perspective and a new lens, like coach rants and players going off in the locker room.
It's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I think so.
I'm excited we play the Commanders coming back. I feel like
that's a scary game.
they had a huge win. Who did they just play?
They just beat the Bears.
Bears on a Hail Mary last second.
That was crazy. But
that was awesome.
What are the Commanders' record? Do you know?
They're 6-2 as well, 6-3 or 6-2.
Oh, so we're 6-2. So they're tied with the Steelers. So that'll be a good game coming back too.
I agree.
From their bye week.
That one's gonna be pretty hard. We got a rookie quarterback who. Historically, Pittsburgh's defense isn't too bad against rookie quarterbacks, but Jaden Daniels does scare me. And he should scare every team in the league because I think he's the front runner for rookie there. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he's easily the best rookie quarterback.
No doubt in my mind.
In Washington. He's beaten opponents that have had good defenses. Browns, their defense is all right. It's a little bit shaky at times, but like if you still week in and week out, you plan to play like they're going to be their best form.
And I think the whole division as a whole is a division full of good defenses. The Ravens in the past have been really good. This year they've been very inconsistent, same with the Bengals. But historically, it's a division off of defense. It always will be that way. So
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about great catches off that Hail Mary, but what
Yeah.
about Garrett Wilson's catch that he had?
Wow.
I saw on,
Oh my God. Well, you want me to go?
oh, yeah. Yeah. Want to put it up on the screen?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Let's
Catch of the year.
Let's look at this. So Aaron Rodgers has pressure.
Nice ball.
He stays poised, and Garrett Wilson, copying the Jordan logo,
yes.
he goes up and
Michael
gets it.
Jordan.
And under further review, this catch, his shin. Look at this, foot and shin right there. That's ruled a catch. That's ruled a touchdown. That's ruled a touchdown for my fantasy team as well. But I mean, obviously, I think that's catch of the year. Like nothing's gonna top.
Insane. I always thought that one OBJ catch was like the best one ever, but that one tops it.
That
like,
was
sure.
that was a touchdown, and his ball control and how he just was able to hold on to it was insane. Wow. It was that game, if you don't mind me talking about it a little bit. Sluggish in the first half. Very sluggish, a lot of sacks, a lot of inconsistent quarterback play. CJ Stroud having a really weird sophomore year. Little
sophomore slump.
A little bit. Aaron Rodgers, that second half, he looked a lot better. He finally found Devontae Adams. It took how long? 3 games, but he found him, and it seems like they're getting that chemistry back. But I don't know if the Jets can get back in the playoff race as far as the AFC. I don't know. I'm not sure.
What do you think? Do you think they have a chance?
They've always got a chance that Rodgers is the quarterback. I think it's going to depend on. They need a lot of help.
But it's the Jets. It's the Jets.
I know it's the Jets, but if you got Rodgers as your quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got Rodgers. He's like, is he the oldest quarterback right now?
Joe Flacco.
Rodgers.
Flacco's the starter now. He got named the starter this week for the rest of the season, and we'll see if Flacco Mania can have a repeat from last year.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Are there any good other catches from this season that you can remember?
No, if we were talking about Steelers, Pickens has had a few bobble. He had a bobble catch the other time.
Monday night he had that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
last
good
Sunday,
catches.
or the Sunday night of football game I went to, he had that bobbled catch, and Russ is just, that connection is lighting up. Speaking about wide receivers, Pittsburgh has obviously been involved in a few rumors for trades for people. And look, it hasn't been working out. It hasn't been working. I mean, look, we looked, Ayuk for so long over the offseason was a long shot. And it didn't happen. And I don't think any of us really expected, I did, but that's okay. We had Devontae Adams. Obviously, he's going to go to the Jets. He's going to go with his pal, Aaron Rodgers. And then Cooper Kupp recently.
Yeah.
That was one where Sean McVay, head coach of the Rams, said, hey, we might put him up for market if we lose this game. They ended up going and beating, who'd they beat? You remember?
The Vikings?
Vikings, yeah, in that face mask call, but we're not going to talk about that. They beat the Vikings, and now Cooper Kupp is seemingly off the market. So I'm looking at a player like Darius Slayton, and you were at that game, number 86. Okay. He had a very good game against us, and he might be on the market. So that's a guy I'm looking at, and so yeah, it's been a pretty crazy season. But people like Van Jefferson, has been okay, and Calvin Austin, given the chance with his speed, he's able to do anything.
His 73-yard?
Yeah, 74. Yeah,
something like that. That was insane,
electric.
And watching that live was crazy. I don't know how they do that. Who was Charlie Jones from the Bengals when he had 100-yard?
Yeah, you would know about that, wouldn't you?
There?
The
kicked off return to begin the game.
Man.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? 101 yards?
100 yards.
Oh
I mean.
God. Special teams.
Those are crazy plays. I love watching the huge run plays where they just are stiff arming the other players and dodging them. Those are my favorite.
Special teams is such an important aspect to the game of football.
I feel like it's very overlooked.
People forget it's offense, defense, and special teams. There are three units, and they all have to work for a team to win a game. So that's what I think about special teams. It's going to be pretty good this year, especially with that new kickoff rule.
Yeah. I'm excited. NFL football Sundays in general are just my favorite time of year. But we're going to move from the gridiron to the diamond, and we just witnessed the World Series. And I know Stone would love to get into it. LA
World
Dodgers.
Series was a fun series, but you know what it came down to? the small things. And I was reading articles, and like the Dodgers, they were happy to draw the Yankees in the World Series because there's small things like positioning in the outfield, and I think we saw it in that 5th inning of Game 5.
Wow.
Garrett Cole not covering the bag, Judge dropped a pop fly, a couple of missed fielding plays on fielders' choices, and I mean it just all came to a head. And Dodgers, they'll make you pay if you make any mistakes, and I think you saw that with the Guardians in the ALCS too. Like, the Yankees' power bats just came alive. Whenever you make an error, you had Juan Soto immediately after Rocchio messes up the double play, series clinching home run. And I mean, the Dodgers made the Yankees pay throughout the entire series.
Yeah, and they had that one game, Game 4, I believe. That was, after the Dodgers took a 3-0 lead, the Yankees. What, they put 11 on them?
Put 11 runs on them.
And they're like, yeah, this is a statement win. And people were like, yeah, don't let the Yankees get hot, right?
And the Yankees, they started off Game 5 hot. They were up 5-0.
Yeah, I was surprised
Judge
how they
broke
didn't
out, hit a home run,
running.
and Flaherty was out of the game, and the Dodgers were in a tight spot. I mean, they had to call in Walker Buehler 1 day of rest from his Game 3 gem. Looked dominant, looked himself. And I mean, most pitchers in baseball, those days will usually be like the days where they normally throw on like the side in the bullpen just to keep fresh and stuff. But Walker Buehler came in there, and that's probably one of the best side sessions he'll ever have, clinching the World Series for the strikeout.
Yeah, that was insane. And I'm looking at one man. We're gonna guess what this man is. Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, MVP, huh?
He had an incredible series. He was the reason. He was one of the reasons they came back and tied the game in the 5th, 5-5. Right?
He had a 2-run single.
He had a 2-run single. I mean, what can't this guy do? Like seriously, when Ohtani can't do it, Freddie Freeman, he can.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he lit it up.
It was just early in the ball games, like first inning of Game 2, like Mookie Betts gets on, and then Freddie Freeman home run, and it just silences that crowd. And then Game 1, walk-off grand slam. Every kid's dream when they're growing up. Bottom of the 9th, and it's just a World Series. Usually Game 7, everybody dreams of the Game 7 walk-off bomb. Freddie Freeman did it in Game 1. They were already down, so if the Yankees get out there, they win that game. We're looking at a possible 3-2 series. I mean, just a lot of things that didn't go the Yankees' way that ended up costing them the series in the end. Judge, he was not himself in the postseason, especially in the World Series, lots of strikeouts. Ohtani, he struggled as well after he got hurt, but he still toughed it out and played.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers pitching, just overall, starting pitchers were dominant for the first 3 games. They went with the bullpen game in Game 4. The starter did good, but the rest of the arms didn't. And Game 5, Jack Flaherty struggled, but the bullpen really kept them in the game.
Yeah, and you were talking about these little mistakes that these teams can make, and look, the Yankees did. Aaron Judge, he had that one, he had a good hit or so, but
good hit, but
can't catch a ball. That's the fine things. And look, this Dodgers team. I mean, obviously, everyone talks about their payroll and over $300 million, or something like
crazy
that.
like that.
I think they hold on to these players like Freddie Freeman, like Shohei. They're probably not going to go anywhere. They're going to try to win again and again. Like, who's going to stop them? Like, seriously.
And that's why Ohtani took the deferred money. He wanted to have the ability. He didn't handicap their payroll. He took the deferred money. They used it to go acquire guys like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Teoscar Hernandez. They're probably a contender in the Juan Soto sweepstakes because they can afford him because of that. And they have Soto. 1 through 6 will be just. You can't take a break in the lineup.
That's unstoppable, seriously. But yeah, what a great World Series, and what a great way to end it. So.
Yeah,
what about that one guy snatching the ball out of?
Oh my God!
That's just
the Dodgers player's hand. That was crazy.
So, I don't know why he did that, but it was a sweet moment in the end. A child patient with cancer and his whole family got to attend the game and Game 5, and they also did the stand up to cancer during that game, and there are lots of nice tributes.
Yeah, there's a funny story I heard about that guy in the crowd. The one guy to the left. I was watching it was like a podcast kind of, but That guy was friends with Rob Gronkowski in college. Did
Yeah,
you
I
see
saw that too.
He was
Really?
friends with Rob Gronkowski in college, and he said how he was just like one of these crazy dudes that he would always hang out with and like no chill. I think they got banned from the next game.
Yeah, they
Or
were
the rest
going to
of the
originally be
series?
allowed into the game, but
That's just
MLB put the pressure on the Yankees.
that's just simply unacceptable. I seriously.
Especially for how much those tickets probably were.
Oh,
Oh, there's season ticket holders and
look.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
No.
that's just insane to me. But the World Series ended in a sweet moment for the Dodgers. But we're getting into a new series. We did it last week, but it's new for them. It's called Start Bench Cut, where our producer Alex has us choose from 3 players to decide our lineups. But we'll get into that after this. Welcome back to Overtime. We're going to get started with Start Bench Cut. Who do we got first?
Come on, Alex. Oh.
Ooh.
Game 1, Alvin Kamara. Ooh.
Saquon
Oh,
Barkley.
that's the Christmas game. Do you remember that one
Oh yeah, the Christmas game.
with the cleats?
This is their season stats.
Oh. My bad. Yeah, that one Christmas game though. All right. Alvin Kamara, Saquon, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I have my pick.
I have my
Or-
pick.
Okay.
At least to start.
All right.
Go ahead.
You want to
Whoever
start with
wants to
starting?
go first.
All right. I'm gonna start Jahmyr Gibbs.
Really?
Yes. Here's why. Young talent. We saw his super electric run last week against Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's young, he's talented, and you know Saquon. He hasn't been in the league too long, but I think I take Jahmyr Gibbs over straight, like not talent, but like what he can do in his future, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'll take Gibbs as well. I mean,
Okay.
Saquon, as much as I love to start him, but Gibbs is just, I feel like he's got more like, because he has the receiving potential too.
Yeah, and I think he's complemented better with David Montgomery. You know, like they can switch out as much as they want to, right?
Yeah.
It's a very deep running back room in Detroit, and I mean, they've each had their moments where they've come in and just dominate.
Who you starting, Jordan?
I don't know actually. Alvin Kamara, he's been fine, but he has the least amount of yards, which isn't really that. These are all running backs, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
he does. That's his stats for this year.
Saquon. I think I'm gonna have to go with Barkley as my starter,
Okay.
and then I'll have to bench Jahmyr and cut Alvin. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna bench Saquon. I'm gonna cut Alvin. I think
Yeah, you got a bench.
Alvin's the guy we're gonna cut. We're all gonna cut him because
Yeah.
of the 3. I think he's older. You know, he's not slowing down necessarily, but I don't know how long he's gonna be in the league for. But yeah, I would definitely start Jahmyr in that backwards order. Yeah, I'll take that
Yeah,
for
we're
sure. Is that
You
yours
too?
too, Stan?
Yeah, I'll take that. Wait, Barkley on the bench. I mean, if you have Barkley as your bench option,
Oh, I mean, you're solid.
cooking.
There's no way anyone stops that running back to it. And then, you know, Alvin Kamara, I'm sorry. You know, you've been really good this year, but now your quarterback's gone. Now your other receivers are gone. So you're probably just gonna
have to.
find a different team.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's okay. You know, you'll be great on a different team that needs a starting running back. So yeah, that's what I think.
Well, with these lineups, I'm sure that we will get that dub
Oh yeah.
for the
Yeah.
one game time. But unfortunately, that is all the time that we have today to talk about all things sports. Thank you, Evan and Stone, for joining me.
Thanks
And
for having me.
I loved getting into it. And I've been Jordan Hiles. Have a great day.